Good evening, and nice to see you all back. And then today, our session a little bit shorter for some exigency. However, I will the basics. I have already the attributes of corporate personality, the exceptions, then the three important topics in Unit 2. Now, the next important topic in Unit 2 is with regard to formation of a company. How the company has to be started off. Companies are two kinds basically, whether it is a government company, non-government, and ultimately whatever it is, companies are basically taken as two kinds. First kind is a private limited company, the other one is a public limited company. And what are the distinctions and then permutations, combinations? Well, we have got a lot of time, step by step, we'll go into those particular details. Basically, if it is a private company, two or more persons with a ceiling of 200 can formulate a private limited company, and then the two or more should subscribe their names to the memorandum. Minimum required is only two, whereas seven or more persons can subscribe to the memorandum, and then the upper limit is unlimited for a public limited company. Don't mistake, government company is a public limited company. Government companies are called government companies only, and government companies also can be private limited companies or public limited companies, with the basic distinction that a private limited company has to be started with the minimum two, and a public limited company is to be started with minimum seven. This is the most important aspect you have to take into distinguish between a private limited and public limited companies. Subsequently, there are many points of distinction which we can take later on one by one, one by one. But the time being, today's session, we are going to deal with is that pertaining to the formation of a company and the formalities thereon. Basically, to start a private limited company with its features and advantages, one requires minimum two subscribers. To start a public limited company, to take the best advantages of that and public subscription and contribution to public deposits, shares, debentures in public issues, a minimum of seven is required. And then for private companies, the maximum is 200. Public limited companies, there is no maximum, it could be unlimited. Then, friends, basically, Section 7 is the landmark provision under the Companies Act 2013 dealing with the subject of private limited companies and public limited companies with regard to the documentation. And then, what are the documents required and all that? Prima facie, you had to read Section 7 of the Companies Act 2013 to assimilate and then get yourself acquainted with all the relevant provisions thereon. I give a gist wherein basically one has to get first the availability of the name with the register of companies. The companies are supposed to be registered with the register of companies of each state. So whenever you are inclined to start off a company, in that particular state, there will be an office of the Register of Companies working under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA. And then you have to apply to the registrar first your intention to register a company with the availability of a name. For example, you want to start off Chidrupa Products Limited, and then already there is a company by that name Chidrupa. Then even you are a Bhakta of Chidrupa, you cannot start it because that chance is gone. Somebody else already got it, it is registered. So you can't have a company, a name which is already existing in existence. So you must always be careful over that, that the name has to be first made available. Normally you apply and then three names have to be given, and whether it is one, two, or three, the registrar will say, or all the names are already taken up, then he will say they are not available, resubmit. Once the name is made available, then you have to make out an application, and then you have to file certain documents after availability of name. The name of the company has to be printed in the memorandum and articles of association. And then first document you have to file is the memorandum of association, then the articles of association, then the statement of nominal capital, that is the authorized capital. A company first must have an authorized capital, and its public issue or even a private limited company through private placement, its filling up of capital cannot exceed the authorized capital. For example, I say my authorized capital is 5 crores. Of 5 crores divided into so many shares of rupees 10 each. Then what happens? This particular 5 crores amount of authorized capital is concerned. A company cannot issue the share capital beyond this 5 crores. That is authorized capital. And then if it wants to get more and more subscription to the share capital, it has to amend this particular authorized capital clause, then enhance it. Then it can take it. In that event, you can put a question to me, sir, why can't we have an authorized capital of 500 crores at a time so that we need not amend each time? Then, as and when we require, we will fill it up. Why can't we do that? You can do that. But you have to pay fees based on authorized capital. So if you say the company's authorized capital is 100 crores, the fees payable to the registrar will be unimaginable, mind-blowing. You can't do that. So you had to put the authorized capital as that amount as it is required. You had to start up, then you had to plan up and put the authorized capital in the proper way so that to the extent it is required only you have to take it, and then you can pay the appropriate fees to the register of companies based on your requirement only. Suppose you say in future, why should we go for amendments? We'll put authorized capital as 50 crores and your requirement of the company is only 2 crores. Then for 48 crores, you have to pay colossal money, fees to the government of India through the register of companies. That would be not advisable at all. That is the reason why I hope you understand how that this authorized capital has to be mentioned. And then with this background, friends, you have to file 2 vital documents called, one is the memorandum of association, the another one is the articles of association with the register of companies. And then further, you must also file a statement of the nominal capital. And then further, you have to file certain documents along. One is the list of persons who agreed to act as its directors, their details, then their consent if it is a public limited company, and no consent if it is a private limited. Then the undertaking by directors to take up and pay for qualification shares, if any. Then a declaration by an advocate of Supreme Court or a High Court or a chartered accountant or a director named thereon, or the manager or secretary. And then ultimately, you will have to see that this particular documents are filed with the registrar, and then the register of companies will then ultimately scrutinize, call for any other drawbacks, any other, in fact, filling up the gaps. Then finally, he will pass an order and issue a certificate of registration. Once the certificate of registration has been issued, Section 9 of the Companies Act 2013 tells the incorporation details are under Section 7. And then the formation of companies with charitable objective is under Section 8. And once it is fulfilled, the company is registered, then the effect of registration is stated under Section 9 of the Companies Act 2013. The moment a company is registered and a certificate of registration has been issued by the register of companies, all the companies under the Companies Act must be, including a foreign company, registered with the Register of Companies, who is functioning under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And then, friends, Section 9 says once a company fulfills the conditions and then the appropriate details are given in the memorandum and articles of association. I will explain later on what is memorandum and articles. And these details have been given. Then, what is the effect of the registration? It is stated under Section 9 of the Companies Act 2013. The Register of Companies, after finding out and satisfying himself that all the requisite formalities have been complied with, documentation has been properly done, and then fees has been paid, then nothing else, then he will make an inquiry if necessary, then he will call for any information further, then produce the records, then he will issue a certificate called Certificate of Registration. What is the effect of the certificate of registration? Certificate of registration is a conclusive proof of the company being coming into existence as an artificial person.
This is for public company only, sir.
All private and public. Good question. It is for both private and public. Whether it is private, public, government also could be public or private. Companies have to be either public or private. And necessarily all the formalities have to be complied with thereon. And then private and public limited distinction with regard to operational aspect of corporate entity, but not registration aspect. It would be common for documents of the companies. Even government company.
Sir, how about OPC?
एक minute, whether it is a public or private, and accordingly the proceedings will take place. Yes, Amma, who is taking?
Sir, how about OPC?
Sorry?
One person company, sir.
Yeah,
1%.
even one person company also, that is to be marked as one person company specifically now. If it is one person company, means it is neither public nor private, though it would be marked as one person company. I know. So it would be one person company, it would be a public company, it would be a private. One person company consists of one, public limited company consists of minimum 7, a private limited company consists of minimum of 2. For private limited company, maximum is 50. For public limited companies, maximum is unlimited.
Unlimited.
Okay?
Maximum 200, no?
200 for private limited companies.
Okay, private.
Private limited companies. Okay. In fact, Companies Act written by the Avatar Singh is one of the good books. At the moment, I don't advise you to go through Ramaya, and you can go through. I have given some books already in my earlier sessions, where in my classroom. Again, I am telling you, you please go through Bail Act, that is Taxman's or any other Bharat, any other good Bail Act must keep with you up to date as on today. And apart from that, take a good book, Taxman's or Avatar Singh, which would be a very good book, which is a very good book, and then it will help you to get the grip over the subject matter. But even you listen to me and take down the cases properly, and it is now YouTube, you can keep on listening and taking the case law. Definitely, to a greater extent, you can write a good answer. But still, so far the initial classes are concerned, where conceptual study is there, I will be a little bit slow like this, and then I will be dealing with all this particular case law wherever it is necessary. But once we complete this, we go for meetings and such things. It is purely only law, no concepts, and then case law also is not much available, so that we can speed up, and then we can go to only the provisions of the act rather than the conceptual study. The study of company law is twofold. One is the provisions of Companies Act, and the other one is concepts. You have to start off with concepts of corporate entity, Solomon and Company, Solomon versus Solomon and Company Limited. Then the lifting of corporate veil, what we have seen. and the attributes of corporate personality, company and citizenship. So these are all the things I have already told you, STC versus CTO, company and citizenship. So these are all the things we have to take as concepts. So we have already discussed four important concepts right now, as on now. So we are now going into further aspects as to registration part, then subsequently what would be the effect of registration, and then how the corporate entity comes into picture, what kinds of companies are there. Prima facie, there are two kinds of companies, public limited and private limited. The subscribers required here for private limited is 2, public limited is 7. And then it's a government company, then it should be private or public. It's a private sector company, it could be 2 or 7 as the case may be. So public sector is different, public limited is different. This is the distinction you have to make out in your study. Friends, now once these particular documents are presented and then the register of companies accepts them, then the next question comes as to what is the effect of registration? This is the most important aspect. The attributes of corporate personality, what we have discussed, are embedded by registration. Those attributes come into picture only when a company is registered. If it is not registered, then it is an unregistered company, has no value. So then it could be taken as a large partnership. Then large partnership has got its own restrictions as to what would be the maximum ceiling thereon. So taking all these particular aspects, what you have to see is what is the effect of registration. The effect of registration is under section 9. Please see, I will read it. From the date of incorporation mentioned in the certificate of incorporation, the subscribers to the memorandum and all other persons, as may from time to time become members of the company, shall be a body corporate. This is the first effect. It will become an independent personality, a person by itself, and then body corporate by the name contained in the memorandum. The name as is given in the body corporate memorandum of association will be the name of the company. The company will come into picture with a name. Human beings come into picture without name. Then they will be given a name. Companies come into picture with a name automatically. And then it shall be capable of exercising all the functions of an incorporated company under this act. What are all meant for doing do's and don'ts for a company will be done. And having now the attributes, perpetual succession, continuous existence, that means which we have discussed. A common seal with power to acquire, hold and dispose of property, both movable and immobile, tangible and intangible, to contract, contractual rights. I told you already attributes of corporate personality. And sue and be sued in the said name, by the said name, by the said name. So what does it mean? The attributes of a corporate personality, what we have discussed, are embedded. I have elaborated and given you more. Here they are all embedded under section 9 of the Companies Act 2013. So when you deal with a question on attributes of corporate personality, definitions you give, you have to give the registration effect under section 9. The effects are stated under the statute. Then with the combination of statute and common law, the attributes we discussed, you have to narrate in your answer with the case law. Then you will get definitely, if it is 25 marks question, not less than 2018 you will get, I assure you. This is the way you have to prepare. So friends, the basic issue here is under section 9, which deals with the effect of registration. And then this particular effect of registration, in fact, Taxman's Master Guide to Companies Act, you can refer, and then you will find more and more case law also. Taxman's Master Guide to Companies Act, you can refer to, where you will find more and more relevant cases also with regard to the effect of registration. Then friends, the this effect of registration is now in force, and then it is now in practice. Then friends, after this, section 10 of the Companies Act 2013 speaks of the effect of memorandum and articles of association. What do you mean by effect of memorandum and articles of association? Subject to the provisions of this Act, the memorandum and articles shall, when registered, bind the company and members thereof to the same extent as if they respectively had been signed by the company and by each member and contained covenants on it and his part to observe all the provisions of the memorandum and articles of association. I read it again. Subject to the provisions of this Act, the memorandum and articles shall, when registered, bind the company and the members thereof to each member and members thereof to the same extent as if they respectively had been signed by the company and by each member and contain covenants on its and his part to observe all the provisions of the memorandum and articles of the company. All monies payable by any member to the company under the memorandum and articles shall be a debt due from him to the company. What does it mean? If there are 1,000 members in a public limited company, is it possible all 1,000 will sign the memorandum? Not necessary. That's the reason why the subscription has come. The memorandum is concerned. The memorandum of association has to be subscribed by 7 members. The memorandum of a private limited company has to be subscribed by 2. A public limited company by 7. Enough. Later on, 1 lakh shareholders joined in a public company, and then 200 total joined in a private limited company. It is deemed they all have signed, presumed, and they are all bound by the provisions of the memorandum and articles of association. So that is the effect you find under section 10 of the Companies Act 2013. So the effect of registration, friends, you have to study under 9, and the effect of registration, further memorandum and articles by registration, you have to study under section 10. Then friends, with this particular background, you proceed further. Under section 11, a public limited company is concerned, it can't start its business immediately, but a private limited company can start its business immediately. And a public limited company has to file certain documents and declarations so that it will be issued another certificate called a certificate for commencement of business, that is under section 11 of the Act. So what you find here, number 1, a private limited company on registration certificate being issued, the effect of registration under section 9 will automatically apply, and section 10 thereon, and it can start off its business immediately without any hindrance. It is the case of a public limited company, it has to then start off its business only after it is issued a certificate called Certificate for Commencement of Business, and this is under section 11 of the Companies Act 2013. How the certificate is issued, the provisions say so. What are the provisions? A company having share capital shall not commence business. A company having a share capital shall not commence any business or exercise any borrowing powers unless a declaration is filed by a director in such form and verified in such manner as may be prescribed with the register of companies. The formalities are complied with, and then the appropriate paid up share capital as undertaken is paid or not, and then the paid up share capital is not less than 5 lakhs rupees in case of public company, and not less than rupees in case of private company on the date of making of this declaration. And then the company filed with the registrar a verification of its registered office. Further, if any default is there, it is liable for a penalty which may extend to 5,000 rupees, and every officer is punishable with fine which may extend to 1,000 for every day. No declaration has been filed with the registrar under clause A of subsection 1 within a period of 180 days of the date of incorporation. The company and the registrar has reasonable cause to believe that the company is not carrying on any business or operations, he may, without prejudice to the provisions of subsection 2, initiate action for renewal of the company. So, friends, here is a case where a declaration has to be filed in such form with regard to public company as well as private company, where public company it is the 5 lakhs rupees paid up capital, and private
Sir,
company it is 1 lakh rupees. Tell me, any doubt?
sir, this provision is omitted.
1 second, 1 second. I am coming to that. Where this particular provision is omitted,
Section 11 is omitted in 2015 itself, sir.
section
11 is omitted by the Act of 21 of 2015.
let me see. When section 11 is omitted,
Omitted by Act 21 of 2015 with effect from 29th May 2015.
okay, 1 second. Section 11 is totally omitted according to you?
Yes, sir. A private company can start business after incorporation,
Hmm.
but a public company has to prepare a document that is prospectus,
Hmm.
and he has to gain minimum subscription within 120 days. That is the provision.
See, when this is incorporated, please tell me.
29/5/2015, 29th May 2015.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Actually, in the beginning, I am starting off from the beginning, the history. Actually, you are absolutely right. Originally, this particular commencement was, in fact, is concerned from 1/4/2014. And then these particular provisions were in vogue at that time, where originally private limited companies were not required to, in fact, file anything. But subsequently, this was done, and then this particular provision has been inserted. You are absolutely right. And subsequently, this particular requirement has been made thereof. I do agree. Okay? And then please read the provision again. That would be a good exercise for us online to interact. Please read the provision, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
After incorporation, the company can public personality.
1 second, Amma. 1 second, Amma. I will take you to that particular provision again. 1 minute. Huh? Ah, 1 second. And then section. Yes, madam. Please, 1 second. 2017. Yes. Effect of, yes, madam. Please go ahead.
Sir, a private company can start business after incorporation, but a public company has to file a document that is prospectus. After approval by the registrar of the companies, prospectus is issued to the public. A public company has to secure minimum subscription within 120 days.
Madam, a public
That is for shares.
company, suppose, has not gone for public issue, then what will be of that? It's a good discussion I want to initiate.
Hmm.
That
Suppose
is for issuance of shares.
money and I don't go for public issue, what will happen? Please tell me.
Your registration will be invoked.
Ah,
Yeah, you're
see, here I tell you, actually, what happened is, I will tell you the legal position now. Commencement of business is concerned, Section 11 of the Companies Act, the entire provision under section 77 was omitted by the Companies Amendment Act 2015 with effect from
Yes, sir.
29/5/2015. That is the law, ma. So the law
Yes, sir.
that under this particular Amendment Act 2015, with effect from 29 May 2015, the entire provision of Section 11, commencement of business, is omitted. And then subsequently, it follows the registration of office, registered office of the company, and then other things. But nowhere in the Companies Act it speaks about the particular compliance with commencement of business. Is there any other provision? Let us discuss.
No, sir, there is no provision. The provision which I was speaking was the old one. But after 2015, there is no such provision.
Very good. In that event, you can commence business immediately.
Yes, after the certificate, incorporation certificate, we can start.
After incorporation certificate, with
Yes.
the type of discussion I want to encourage, so that we online.
There's a section 10A.
Section is 11 is concerned, it is omitted by Companies Amendment Act 2015 with effect from 29/5/2015. So that prior to its omission, what was the law, we need not bother. That is only for research purpose. For studying and writing the examination purpose, answers are concerned, we had to see what is the law as in existence. But some background I had to give initially because these are all concepts. The study of company law is two kinds. Conceptual study, statutory provisions. Conceptual study means the concept like corporate entity, lifting of corporate will, the concepts in memorandum of association, all these things are concepts. Now, the actual provisions means the provisions of the Companies Act, which we simultaneously take up for our study. How we have to study, for example, take the commencement of business. Effect of memorandum and articles, section 10. Effect of registration, the attributes of corporate personality, what we have discussed under section 9. Suppose commencement of business is concerned, that particular aspect is now dispensed with. In the examination point of view, tomorrow to confuse you, some other university professor will give you, you explain about commencement of business. Then you have to state what it was, then you have to say it is now omitted. Normally in larger, long questions, they won't give such kind of thing, but in the present situation, it may not. But suppose they give a shorter question, and then you have to give a short answer. Accordingly, you have to prepare.
So there is a 10A.
Come to 10A.
Commencement of business, etc.
Yeah, I will come to that. 10, section 10 is there.
10A, which has been added, sir.
Please read it.
Section 10A inserted by Companies Amendment Act 2019, Act 22 of 2019, dated 31st
Yeah.
July 2019, with effect from 2nd November 2018. This has been included.
Yes.
It talks about commencement of business, etc.
Yes.
Subclause 1 talks about a company incorporated after the commencement of Companies Amendment Act 2019
Yeah.
and having a share capital shall not commence any business or exercise any borrowing powers unless Clause A declaration is filed by a director within a period of 180 days of filing of incorporation of the company in such form and verified in such manner
Yeah.
as may be prescribed with the
Yeah.
register that every subscriber to the memorandum has paid the value of
Yeah.
shares agreed to be taken by him on date of making such declaration.
Yes. And now the question is, has it been brought into effect?
Yes, sir.
When?
2nd November 2018.
2nd November
2018.
18 or 19?
Sir, it says with effect from 2018. At least the book says that. With effect from 2/11/2018.
With effect
They
from
backdate.
18 or 19?
Sir, this inserted by Companies Act amendment of 2019, but it says the book, at least the Bare Act says with effect from 2nd November 2018. So
In fact, that
retrospective.
has to be checked up because is it with retrospective effect? Normally, there can't be
They don't.
application of law with retrospective effect, especially with this kind of corporate laws.
Correct.
This is the type of discussion I want. So please, we will in fact look into this aspect in our next session and then see what would be the actual effect of this particular legislation which is brought into force amendments in 2019 middle. So now what do you understand? Originally, Companies Act stipulated that public limited companies cannot commence business directly except private limited companies. Now that has,
2018 only.
sorry,
Amendment 2018. A company, section 10A is through amendment ordinance 2018 itself, not 19. It is not a retrospective law.
is it retrospective?
No, it is not.
That's what I'm saying, Amma. Normally,
It was added by passing an ordinance, sir, in 2018 itself.
hmm,
So it came into effect from 2018 itself, 2nd November.
when the amendment was passed,
2018, sir.
2018.
Ordinance, sir, not the whole amendment. There was a small ordinance in it.
Oh, so the ordinance came in 18, then
Yes.
it was made into law in 19. Am I right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Then ordinance life is only 6 months.
Then it was again,
Put on another ordinance
yes, in 2019, no, sir, it came in, it became a law, no?
because ordinance cannot run for more than 6 months. So probably I will help you back. I will check up and then come back to you, wherein the probably ordinance is extended and then now it has become a law that this is with retrospective or no, no retrospective effect. It is with the date of ordinance. So always act comes later on. The original date of the ordinance has to be taken into account. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in that event, this clause is meant for only public limited companies, but not private limited companies. Am I right?
No, sir, it is nowhere mentioned as such.
Please read the provision again.
A company incorporated after the commencement of the Companies Act and having a share capital shall not commence any business or exercise any borrowing power unless a declaration is filed by the directors within a period of 180 days from the date of the incorporation in such form and verified manner as may be prescribed with the registrar.
Right. Actually, I think there is a flaw. I will check up and come back to you because this is where I will try to give more clarification. Normally, this can't be made applicable to private limited companies. So there have been a flaw. I will check up and I will clarify whether this applies to private and public limited companies alike or not. This aspect I will in fact clarify. All right.
Okay, sir.
I will make a clarification maybe in tomorrow's session probably. I will see. Why? Because this kind of clarification is absolutely needed for the reason that this is a new amendment which was very recent in times and most of the people in fact don't have the idea of this amendment. This is the difficulty. So I will check it up and on this particular aspect, what is the aspect I have to clarify you? I have to get,
Section 10A.
yes, 210, that is 10A. And I had to tell you,
Yes, sir.
originally the 11 is dispensed, in fact, 11 is dispensed with, repealed, and again 10A has been incorporated subsequently, and 10A is concerned. Up to 11 dispensed with, be thorough. Now, so far 10A is concerned, what is its application, whether it applies to companies and private limited companies and public alike, or it applies to only public limited companies. I had clarified. I will give you that clarification. Okay. Now, please note down that so that in next day's class, we can take care of that. Then friends, the next important aspect is that with regard to the commencement of business under section 11. Now, section 11 is concerned. This is again an important provision. Please tell me whether section 11 applies to both public and private companies alike, or only it applies to, in fact, public companies. Will you please tell me?
It was different, sir, for both the companies, public as well as private.
So, a private limited company can commence business immediately
After the incorporation.
after the
Yes, sir.
incorporation.
Yes.
Now,
After
commencement.
getting the certificate of incorporation,
After
the
registration.
private company can start.
Okay. And then how about then the, public limited company?
Public company has to first issue the prospectus, and within 180 days, within 120 days, it should get the minimum subscription.
Suppose a limited company does not go to public subscription and it is on private placement, it can. Can it not continue?
It can continue.
In that event, this particular provision is not relevant.
It'll
A public limited company, it
They
is
can
not
issue
compulsory.
in lieu of prospectus.
Yeah. In that,
Yes.
it need not. See, suppose it collects money from private placement, then it will
Yes.
issue what you call statement in lieu of prospectus, and it can commence business. It can start off. And commencement of business is concerned a different concept which has been now removed and again reinserted. In that particular case, what is the existing law? Whether it is compulsory, this particular provision needs, I think we have to check up the latest amendment, whether any clarification has come in the recent times in 2000, this particular century. Am I right? Because 2020, any amendment has come, probably you will have to see. The reason being, that's the reason why I triggered this discussion, because you will also check up and you will also study this and come back to me in tomorrow's session. So you are going to study two issues. Now I hope now we are making it a real classroom.
Yes, sir.
Enjoying? Enjoying and enjoying.
Enjoy.
If you say no, sir, we don't want this, then I will give a meticulous lecture, close it. What you want me to do, you tell me.
No, sir, this way is better.
You like it?
Yes, sir.
Very good. I also want your participation so that we will all participate with each other and then we'll get to know. So this is the way the learning should be. In fact, we have got a lot of time, plenty time. So I thought let us make best use of the available time and then make it a lively session. So evening start off, me and you should be eager to meet each other. Then if we don't meet, we should feel we miss something. Me and you. So that is the way the classroom should be. Am I right? So with this background, my dear friends, we can start off and proceed further. Now I triggered this kind of inquisition in you. My inclination is that I should start off a kind of inclination in you to study. So what we are going to study in tomorrow's session, number one, with regard to this particular effects of commencement of business, what is the existing correct law? Whether the law which we have seen in 2019 now sustains. If so, then the subscription is concerned, then is it compulsory that public limited company should necessarily go for public subscription without, private placement is not permitted?
No, sir, but that section is already omitted, so we don't have to look into that.
Sorry?
Section 11 is already omitted, no, sir.
Section 11 is omitted, but subsequently reintroduced in 2019.
Oh, in 10A. Yes, sir.
Entirely. So now you don't go to 11. Tomorrow's session for discussion, come back to 10A and tell me whether a public limited company cannot by private placement start off its business. Is it compulsory that it should go for public subscription? Can't it file a statement in lieu of prospectus and go ahead? Is there any prohibition? Will you do that?
We will try, sir.
Will you do that exercise and come tomorrow?
So the whole purpose of a public limited company will be defeated if it does not. Then they would rather set it up as a private limited company.
Please see, a public limited company need not compulsorily, necessarily go for public issue.
Whenever a company needs money, then only, for requirements only, they will issue the shares.
Yeah.
Offer.
And it starts up, for example, with n amount of money, and then it is not a hard and fast rule that it should go for public compulsorily. Not necessary.
Not necessary.
But it must issue a statement in lieu of prospectus.
The register.
A statement in lieu of prospectus. That is the purpose. So what we had to examine is this particular aspect as to section 10A, and 11 is now repealed. So under 10A, what would be the status with regard to the collection of subscription for public limited companies? Right? How they collect the money? Private limited, there is no problem. Private limited, they cannot go to public. But public limited is concerned, is it compulsory that you must go for public subscription? Not necessary. Not necessary. You can have enough share capital starting off with 7 subscribers tomorrow. The maximum number is concerned, but suppose enough subscription is made out by the shareholders, is there any prohibition and bar? There is no bar. The only limit is that minimum 7 subscribers. And there can't be restriction on transfer of shares. Then the rules of public subscription through stock exchanges and public issues are different than private placement.
That is why in private limited company, they cannot transfer the shares. Private limited.
No. In private limited companies, there is restriction of transfer of shares.
Yes.
Correct it. In public limited companies, there can't be restriction.
Freely transfer.
Yes, it is freely transferable. Right? So with this background, you please come back to me tomorrow or day after tomorrow. What shall we do? Tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow. Because tomorrow evening, we will again meet at the same time. Because the day after tomorrow and Saturday, Sunday, I have got a program with the Institute of Company Secretaries, 4 hours, 8 hours program. So it is online and then online arbitration training. So probably I forgot to bring it to your notice. Next time I will bring it to your notice. If you are interested, you can join for arbitration training there. So very lovely program. So then after having 4 hours with them on Sunday, probably I will be exhausted. I to come back to you. Tomorrow we will have a session. Tomorrow we will continue. What I will do tomorrow, this section 10A. Okay, we will state only with regard to the public issue and then private placement, and then after that the commencement of business. This particular aspect under section 11 now is no more relevant. In that event, what is the exact legal position? We will come to a conclusion. I want your study for that. My intention is that at least initial classes trigger the inclination to study and do research and then come back. As we progress and then time will be running out, we can close down the session with the speeding up the important material. At least conceptual study is concerned. In the beginning, we can be a little bit slow and we can have this kind of lovely discussion. I'm really happy. This is online. So beautiful. It is as good as a classroom. It is as good as a classroom. Maybe more than. In fact, in classroom, we have restrictions. Mosquitoes bite. Fumes come and say time is up. Bell will be given. Today we are free. We are in AC rooms and then having our own facilities and happily we are learning. Excellent. So that way this is better, I feel now. Going virtual is better. Let us hope for the best. With this background, we will see in tomorrow's session After this discussion in the initial time, I will go with the definition of memorandum and articles. Then I will tell you the phases of memorandum briefly. Then I will go through the articles. Then slowly, the various aspects of Companies Act, I will take you through. So this is how, especially now we are on Unit 2. So Unit 2 is concerned, whatever now are stated in Unit 2, we are going to complete at the earliest possibility. Please take the latest Companies Act, Taxman 2020. Now we are in June. So get the latest 2020. And then the textbooks also I have given you earlier. And then there are very good textbooks now. Avatar Singh, otherwise 2020 edition might have come. Otherwise 19 edition, you have to supplement it. And 2020 BEAR Act, corporate laws, or at least Companies Act, you must invariably purchase. Corporate laws means still there is 6 months plus another 4 months plus 4, 8, 1 month, 1 year almost. Corporate laws you can purchase next year. At least Companies Act, you purchase latest as on now. That would be of great help to you. And then it will give you all the latest amendments thereon. So I hope you enjoyed the session. I really enjoyed your session and interaction. And I want this kind of interaction. It's a virtual classroom in all respects. So I thank you very much, my dear friends. And then goodbye, good night. We'll meet again. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you. Good night.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.